Hey you, I'm the Queen of Shade. Welcome to the interview. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, oh, and hit my Cash App to support your favorite content creator. Now let's get to the interview. Mwah.
Let me tell you something. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too.
Salutations, Dufos. This is your fabulous leader, the Queen of Shade, coming at you with another special presentation. Moving full speed ahead, I'm talking to some amazing people, some enlightening people. I'm learning things about them. They're teaching me things about myself. And it's just an amazing transference of energy and synergy and love and encouragement and empowerment. So having said that, I have someone that you need to meet. This young man caught my eye on social media a while ago, and I kept up with his page, but he wasn't really active posting. So we're going to talk to him about why. So that's why you never really saw him pop up in my feed, because on Instagram, everything switched to video and he was still posting pictures. But we're going to talk about it all. So ladies and gentlemen, I have just one word to introduce this young man. This young man is a one-word person. The brand is one word. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you all to Rouxx.
Hi, oh my God. Thank you so much. I have to start off by saying I'm starstruck. It is an absolute honor and pleasure to be here. I've been following you for a while, as you know, as well. And I'm just so excited. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's nothing. Trust me. Don't even think about it. Just imagine me in my bra. That's all you have to do.
Okay, I'll try.
Like it's gonna be good. This is a safe space, and let me start off by saying that it's a safe space where we can talk about whatever it is we want to talk about. I ask a couple of questions, but I really let energy flow the way that it needs to.
Naturally.
Oh, yeah, naturally and authentically. I have a couple of questions for you, but you know me, I have powers, so I'll get you talking.
You too.
So, Mr. Rouxx, tell us where your name Rouxx comes from, originates from.
I'm glad you asked, because I came across this name roughly two and a half years ago when I didn't really have a stage name to my modeling and what I do currently. And I was thinking, let me be like, a brand. I want to start building something and be like the one word type of person. And Rouxx actually is a shortening of the French word Rouxx, which means, it actually translates to a couple of things. One is ginger, like redhead or like burgundy, brownish type of color. Whereas the other translation as well is a brown butter. So it's also a shortening, that is conjured up from a typical specific type of flour. And it creates this very nice reddish brown caramel type of color, which I like to claim is the color of my beautiful brown skin. Yours too, actually.
I knew where you were going.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, yes.
Yeah.
So I took that and I was like, this is a beautiful word. I'm no expert on French. Okay, so no test on that. But I love the culture, love their language of love, as they say. And it definitely coincides with my name, as I've added a couple X's to it, obviously, as you can see on my profile, because my modeling is very raw, it's out there, it's also meaningful, it's insightful, and I really want it to mean something. But it's definitely me. It definitely translates into my personality, my characteristics, and again, my look. So that's why I chose that name.
Yeah, and tell them how it's spelled, because it's not R-U.
It's, yes, R-O-U-X.
Yeah.
Rouxx. So you could say, and I've gotten this a million times, RuPaul, you could say Rouxx from Euphoria. I get that one a lot. And then we start talking about the TV show, like, yeah, I watched that too, it's a wonderful TV show. And things like that. So it's very easy to pronounce. But yes, most people, you're correct. Most people don't know how to spell it. It is R-O-U-X, shortening from, again, the French word Rouxx.
Yeah.
Very classy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I'm glad that you explained that because like it's a name that stands out. And it's kind of funny because immediately when I left Instagram and went over to Model Mayhem, which as we were talking about it, I haven't been on Model Mayhem since 2003, I want to say 2004, so long. They closed my account. I went over there and they were like,
I
honey, you are
know.
old as dirt. You're about to be 40 in September. We don't want you. We want young and hip and hot. And we phased you out. So needless to say, I had to start a new account and I'll gather new models. And that's one thing I love about modeling and people don't understand about fashion is, you know, when I was younger, I did, you know, I got the opportunity. I was a fashion model. I got the opportunity to voyage to Paris where I was modeling for 6 months. And that was very hard. I tell everybody, it was very hard. It was not for the faint of heart. It was difficult because I was a very androgynous model. So I was grappling with the whole idea of indoctrination and putting on a wig. So, you know, I didn't do it in the 6 months that I was there, but 17 years later, I came to it. And it's kind of funny because even in my brand, the French knew exactly what to do with me. I didn't know what to do with me. New York didn't know what to do with me, and they wouldn't tell me what to do, even though they knew. And finally, someone from Boss Model Management said to me, pulled me out of line and said, listen, you need to go to Paris. This is your look. You're not an American look. You have a European look. You need to go there. And then when I went there, it was like, oh, well, we know exactly what to do with you. And when I got there, I was too late to audition for the girls' shows. So it was Fashion Week for the girls. And, but I still saw all of the shows. I saw all of the shows because I looked the part, I spoke the part. I was very aware of my business. I was a brand even then. I was running around with mental illness unchecked, but at the same time, very highly intelligent and highly knowledgeable about the business. So that got me into a lot of places where normal people couldn't get into. And I didn't just have the standing room tickets, I had seats. Like there were people that helped me, editors and, you know, fashion insiders that helped me get to where I needed to get to in that business. But it was very, very demanding, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And what people don't understand about modeling is you're not making a lot of money when you first start. It's just like any small venture. You know, you enter modeling and you enter fashion and you're a business, you're your own small business. So, you know, you're responsible for so much of your overhead and your career, and people don't understand that. So long story short, I went over to your page because I was preparing for this interview and I wanted to see your pictures, and I can definitely see why you chose your name. Your skin complexion is beautiful.
Oh,
I loved your modeling. I loved your body. I loved what you were doing. You stood out. And that's the thing about models. You know, everybody thinks, oh, you have to be 6'4" and you have to be this, you have to be that. No, you can have a very successful, very lucrative career if you learn to maximize what you have instead of trying to be something that you are not, you know? So I went over there and I'm looking at your pictures and I'm like, yes, 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 great body, great physical attributes. And I was very impressed. So that's why I was just like, oh, okay, I see this is serious. And what I noticed is most of your friends on Model Mayhem, because, you know, they show us who you're affiliated with, they're all photographers.
That's
So
right.
you're working and you're working a lot.
I am, yes. I'm glad you noticed that because I love to network.
Yeah.
I mean, how you may want to love to network because I mean, like you said, modeling is a hard job. It's about you and what you want to do. So you have to really get out there, put your name out there, put your face out there, what you look like, what you're going for and your goals. I could go on all day, et cetera, et cetera. So it's funny you say, you know, the whole thing about your Model Mayhem kind of collecting dust, which is fine because you know, not a lot of people are on there regardless. I had to say you're not really missing much. And I've gotten this just from my experience and from photographers alike, because also supplemental to what you said is that Instagram is, you know, moving to video along with their pictures. And as far as what's new, what's now, what's popping, it's that TikTok and, you know, all these other social media platforms that the younger crowd is really going for. So Model Mayhem's not played out just yet. I go on there, dabble a little bit, check and see what's going on. And then, you know, I do my thing as much as I can. But back to the moral of the story is that the reason most of my friends are photographers on there is because I somewhat got my start there. I actually think I found my second photographer to consider me for a photo shoot there. And I traveled over to Miami, Florida.
Mhm.
And that was a wonderful photo shoot. But it was also a realization because also supplemental, like going back to what you said about the influence of modeling being about, you know, your body and being 6 foot, this and that. I kind of got that reality check where I saw on his portfolio anyway, that most of his models were that.
Yeah.
I had some competition, let me tell you, and not just with like his portfolio. I've, you know, been up against, like literally standing next to models and they're like, oh, hey, how's the weather up there? Damn. You know, they're ripped and they're doing this and that. So I liked it, but it was kind of my stepping stones. Now, again, it wouldn't be recommended to be something that you are not, but I kind of, you know, was taught the ropes about what photographers and, you know, modeling agencies alike and everybody that, you know, was looking for. And, you know, come up game strong. Long story short, come up game is strong. You know, I have a million pictures, a million photographs by countless photographers that I've worked with. And what I like to do as well, again, when it comes to the networking, is that I like to sit down and talk with them before and after the photo shoot, should they have time anyway. But I've run into mostly cooperative companies and photographers that will do that. They will say, well, you know, if you pose like this, it would be better. Or if you, you know, kind of stand up a little taller, flex, put your chest out, and most definitely have confidence in your face. You need to smile. You need to tell these people a story by looking at them.
Yeah.
You know, it's basically what you said when you were looking at my profile. You saw that I stood out, and thank you for that.
You're welcome.
It's because, you know, I really want my friendly, ambitious, and go-getter attitude and atmosphere to disseminate through others that may be looking to do this and to, you know, have the stepping stones as well as I did,
Yeah.
you know.
You know, I'm glad, and we're gonna stay here for a second because I want to encourage you here. I want to encourage you here. When I first started, I'm 5'11", mind you. I'm 5'11". For girls, that's tall. For men, not so much. They usually want to start at, they'll take you 5'10", 5'11", but you got to be impeccable because usually 6 feet is the start. And I know this because I now scout talent, organizations, models, et cetera, et cetera. So even for my own. So in that, I knew models that were that 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", beautiful bodies, face, you know, everything that you would think a model should be, except one problem. They were Black.
Oh.
And it appeared that the gorgeous models that were Black were being overlooked. They were getting in. Now, mind you, they were getting in because, you know, everybody doesn't understand the business, but I can talk business to you because you're inside. So everybody doesn't know that fashion shows, when they see the designer's name on it, there's actually a fashion show producer. They don't know that. So spoiler alert, there's a fashion show producer. So, you know, the producer is putting these things together. The designer chose the models, but the fashion show producer can, you know, pull and do this and do that. And I knew a lot of models that got into shows because the producer would say, okay, yeah, we'll pull you for the show. Kind of like the model, like the designer would pick who he wanted, and there'd still be slots available. And then the fashion show producer is like, oh, I have this and this, and they can go to the agencies, they can pull models where they need them. Well, I knew a lot of Black guys and girls that would get into shows that way. But I also remember them saying, like, the producers, you know, they would make their $1,500, their $2,000 to do the show. And, you know, that would happen. But then the producers started to get kind of finicky, saying like, well, you know, you need to be with an agency for us to continue to book you, you know. So then it kind of left a lot of my guys and a lot of my girls in a catch-22 because the agencies had seen them and the agencies didn't want them because they were this and not this. even having said that, I said that for this purpose. I saw them not get in, and they were what they wanted. So it allowed me to realize that you needed more than that. You needed to be memorable. You needed to have a personality. You needed to have a story. And like you said, be able to tell a story in your modeling, in your posing, and the things that you do. And, a lot of photographers like that. And what models do not understand is you can make a career never touching a runway. You can make a career being booked by fashion photographers or photographers from around the world who will pay you to shoot with them. Now a lot of models don't know that up front, because the idea is young models are looking for whosoever will shoot them, basically anyone and everyone that will shoot them. So they don't, it's kind of like TFP is what we used to call it, time for print, stuff like that. I've never done a time for print. And I'm going to tell you, I never done a time for print, but I never was booked for a shoot. I paid for every shoot I did. Yeah, I paid for every shoot I did. Every single one, with every photographer. The crazy thing is, like I said, I'll be turning 40 in September. 3 of the fashion photographers that launched my career are dead.
Right.
It's been that long.
Wow.
They died, one of cancer, one of heart failure. I forget what the other one was, but yeah, 3 of the main photographers that saw something in me and immortalized me on camera, they're gone. And, all in the last 2 years, 2.5 years, 3 years, maybe. And that was hard for me because, you want those people to remember you. You want those people, when they're showing their portfolios or doing different things like that, it can help you get jobs and things like that. But I got my own job. I created it myself. So
you do.
Yeah. But, a lot of people don't realize that a lot of times, excuse me, you have models running around to shoot with whoever and whoever and whoever. That can actually backfire, because what happens is, and I'm just going to spoiler alert here, because what happens is, you do all these pictures, and then you continue on, and by hook or by crook or by whatever way you get in, you become a huge success. Now these photographers have all these pictures to sell of you that you signed a release that you don't own, and they're going to make a killing off of you selling these pictures.
That's right.
I've known models that were literally on billboards. Photographers sold the pictures. They were on billboards in Times Square, and they didn't get a dime. So you have to be careful, because there are bad sides, downsides to modeling. But what I will say is, I congratulate you for sticking with it, because I see something in you. And what people don't understand about this industry is that fashion, film, and music are the same industry. It's all the same people, that's why you see your rap artists and your different artists representing the house of this, or J-Lo representing Versace. It goes hand in hand. But I'm glad that you kept going and you continue to go. And, even for me, I was going to say, you find you a handful of good photographers that are willing to work with you and willing to, like you said, train you. That's how I got good in my posing, because like my one photographer's name is Joseph Blue. He died of cancer related issues. But I loved him because, you see photographers, and everyone has a different shooting style. It's most photographers, because they want to get as many stills of you as possible. So they're click, 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 click. Well, that wasn't Joseph. I had in my time knowing him, in 20 years, I had, I think, 4 or 5 shoots with him. Every shoot that I had with him, Joseph only flashed or clicked his camera in each shoot about 6 times.
Wow.
And the shoot was over. He was that good.
Impressive.
Yes. And that's why I brought it up, because we don't have photographers like that today. He was that good. He believed in telling a story. And literally, he'd have me sit in front of his wall, and he'd be like, lower your head, turn a little sideways, open your mouth slightly, squint your eye, spread your leg, put your hand here, hold it, pick one. Okay, next outfit. Literally. And every single picture that he created with me was a success. He saw it before he photographed it. And that I have never seen a photographer do. Next one to do that for me was Ernest Collins. He was from Chicago, but I met him in Paris. He was living in Paris for a number of years. And he was one of the photographers. He was the top Black photographer in Paris at that time when I went in 2005. And I met him, not even of any accord of my own. I was crying because I came out of, I won't say their name, but I came out of a fashion agency that I saw accidentally twice on my list. And I forgot that I had already seen them. So I went back in there and then realized, oh shit, I've been here before. And they decided to rip me apart verbally. And, you know, I held it together, still professional, thanked them for their time, got in the elevator and lost it, crying. And then when I was coming out of their doors, a nice young lady, African woman, saw me. She was working in a boutique and she motioned me over and I was crying and she was like, help me get myself together. And she said, you're so beautiful, you know, what are you here for? And I said, I came here to be a model and I made a mistake. Nobody wants me. I'm going off. I flew all the way over here and this is my one shot. And she says, I think I have someone that can help you. And she gave me the name of Ernest Collins and the rest was history. Even today, these photos I still use from all of these photographers because they were so timeless. It's still me today. When I take my wig off, it's still me. And it's so crazy that they immortalized me like that, but they did. So I just want to encourage you by saying you have a great look. I love your look. I love your, and that's the thing. It's so funny that you told the story about your name because your skin tone is actually something that really jumps out at me. The evenness of your skin tone. I love it. And you've even done modeling where you'll do, you know, partially nude or, you know, exotic, you know, type photos. And I'll look, you know, you look at the model from head to toe and your skin is even. It's really even. And that's a great thing to have because you have certain models that have, you know, skin issues. A lot of us do. And, you know, they do what they have to do, spray on the makeup, do this, that, and the other, you know. And I knew one model, she was a top fashion model and literally the half of her face was a birthmark. It was all purple. But when she went into, and this was in Paris, and when she went into hair and makeup, they just painted her, the other side of her face to match that side. Yeah, it's smoke and mirrors, you know, in our industry.
It is.
So yeah, it is. But I want to encourage you to keep going. I joined Model Mayhem again because my attitude is the models that I knew may be gone and may not be modeling anymore, but the next crop of people that want to be models is coming up. That's a business that will always flourish because there are always young men and women that want to be models, and I can catch them coming into the business and better them, you know, better them and not take advantage of them. So tell me, where are you originally from? I know this too, but I just want you to say it.
I am originally from Fayetteville, North Carolina, born and raised. And I spent, let me see how, I was there actually up until high school, 18 after I graduated. I got up out of there. No shade of Fayetteville, North Carolina, but it's a small town and everyone knows each other. And there is, you know, the military base that goes on there. Housing, you know, has some really good opportunities. It's a very fast growing place for sure. But after Fayetteville, North Carolina, I did the cliche thing after high school and I worked for maybe a year or two after that. And then I said, you know what, let me get off my lazy ass. I'm going to go ahead and, you know, apply to college. Let me see what I can get into. And then to do that, I came to Raleigh, North Carolina, because the school system I heard was a lot better. And then my current career has landed me in Durham, North Carolina. So that's where I reside now. Okay,
Durham. The only reason why I know Durham is from the Hollywood movie Kiss the Girls with Morgan Freeman.
All right, yes.
And Ashley Judd. It's one of my favorite. That's the only reason I know Durham is because that was the setting of the movie for Kiss the Girls, where the guy was abducting the women. And yeah, it was quite a movie, quite a book as well. But do you have island roots?
I do actually. You can call me Rihanna's cousin or brother, Cuba Gooden Jr., because I am, you know how people say African American, well, I'm Barbadian American.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm mixed a little bit with that. Unfortunately, I'm not a good Barbadian. I've never been to Barbados. I've never been to the islands. I want to, I need to. I'm gonna make that a goal this year to go on vacation. You know, given the whole pandemic thing that we're still going through, it's been a little bit tough, but I definitely want to see that. So yeah, you clocked me. Got some Islander in me a little bit.
Sorry, it's the business.
Sure.
Yeah, we ask those, what's your origin, you know?
Mhm.
So I'm from Philadelphia, and I went to see a guy, his name was Ron, and he worked for Fusion Model Management years ago. And I went to see him, and he was, again, Black people trying to get in, and he saw me, and he liked my look. And he said to me, where are you from? And I said, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And he said to me, he said, excuse me, but tell me where in Philadelphia are you from where they speak as properly as you do? Yeah.
Okay.
Then I was like, so then I got it. I was like, well, actually, I grew up in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. He said, that's what you need to say from now on when you come through these doors. You're from Willow Grove, Pennsylvania. And then he was like, ironically, I lived there. So it was a connection made with the booker that helped me. You know, he led me to another photographer. So, but yeah, so what did you major in school?
I majored in medical administration. So that's a little bit of what I do now. What I'd really like to do, a next step, it's just so time consuming and you really have to commit yourself to it. I wanted to be a psychologist for a while since I was young. And, you know, sometimes when people say, I love animals, so I want to be a veterinarian, or space is so cool, I want to be an astronaut. And, you know, I love computer games, so I can be a computer engineer. That's great to have those ambitions, but usually, you know, they grow up and they, you know, get into other things, what they're really meant to. But with me in psychology, I did take a semester of that, but I think it was summer, which was a mistake. Okay, it was very rushed. It was worth 4 credits, so I was looking at that too. But I took like the intro, wasn't really for me, but I do want to pick that up very soon. But when it comes to that field, I love the delicacy of it and the intricacy, as well as my insight that I've always had since young. You know, I've talked to grown adults and young people, my friends, family, about what they're going through, their ambitions, you know, what's going on in the past, present, and future. And they've always said, oh my gosh, you know, you're just so good at talking to people. You know, you have this attitude and you have, you know, this magic, like you said you do, with people. And it just soothes them, you know, helps them kind of, you know, be influenced that, you know, that it's okay. And, you know, things will get better. And not only that, but to kind of alter the situation and say, well, you know, if that happened, then you could have been in this place, you know, maybe it happened for a reason, to kind of look at the bright side of things. And I still do that to this day. And I just really do love to help people.
Yeah. You know, I remember why I told you the story about modeling, why I told you the story about that, and why I asked these questions. It's because, get this, the education is always, always, always vitally important. But, you know, you can't necessarily be a psychologist without the school, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the schooling is good, but you can kind of life coach people. You know, that's the same thing with modeling. What I meant to say is that you can, you know, set your own rates for photographers and, you know, book different things and charge and do it on your own as well. But, you know, that was just a finished from before. So do me a favor. I noticed in your photos, now this is for me, this is purely for me. You have two bands. You have two bands on your arms. What the hell do those bands mean? Because I saw, no, because I see guys with the bands and I don't know what they mean.
Yes, I'm so glad you asked me that, because this is for us. It's not just for you, it's for us, it's for everyone.
Okay.
And this was, I think, my second tattoo that I ever got.
Okay.
And it is a traditional armband here, as you can see, because I wanted it to kind of do a double play as the equality sign.
Yeah.
And then when you flip it over here, I'm a little light skin, you can't really see all the colors.
I can. That's like a rose.
It is a paint smear.
Oh, it's a paint
So
smear.
yeah, I wanted it to look like wet paint.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Because yeah, the equality sign stops here. And then you have this break, this split through of the rainbow colors, all of our
Right.
colors.
Okay.
But the paint is still wet
Okay.
because back then and to this day, I believe that our community still has a lot of work to do. The paint's not dry, so to speak.
Mhm.
We are still learning to love each other and to not judge each other outside and inside our community.
Mhm.
And this was actually funny story before marriage was legalized in most spaces. And I was thinking to myself, um, we want so much from the world. Us as the LGBTQ community, we
Mhm.
want so much. We complain, we demand, and we think we deserve all this respect, which we do. But when we are judging each other, when we're facing these trials and tribulations with each other, and it just creates a bad look. How are people on the outside of our community looking at us in, and they're saying, okay, well, I mean, they don't really have their stuff together. I mean, why should we legalize this?
Right.
Why should we pass these bills and do all this stuff? Well, why do we bother to go to the courthouse for them? For what? So it's a representation. I like when people ask about the tattoo. Everyone loves it, and everyone has questions because it is the armbands. But then over here, they're like, "Wait a minute, what did you do to it? It's broken. It's smeared." So I said, "Hey, we got to dry the paint. We got to finish the portrait here. We all have to work together and have each other's backs. When it comes to earning respect and having these laws passed in our name and paving the way, as they say, and making history. That's it."
Yeah. You're LGBTQ? I didn't know that. Um,
Ah, I know it's hard to tell.
you are? I'm a straight woman. I don't know anything. What's LGBT?
That is bad.
I'm like, what's LGBT? I'm sorry, you have to fill me in. Is that some weird alphabet? Like, like people like do these people like where do they come? It's like, let me stop. So no. So okay, I hear there's a lot of intellect with you. What's your birth sign?
Of course.
Taurus. Okay, yeah, very
Mhm,
smart. Very smart. You guys think
mhm.
a lot. You
I'm
guys
a
kind of like
receiver.
ruminate. Yeah, you guys think you guys think a lot. So that's good. Um, you know, you just said a mouthful about our community and you hit it on the head like that there's just so much work to do. I mean, it's kind of crazy because I'm just going to touch this lightly because I don't want to make it a thing, but it is already a thing. But
Mhm.
I can't stand the misogyny within our community. We're all men, and I'm speaking to the G of the community. We're all men, and yet and still we run around, especially men of color. We run around, I'm more man than you, I'm more man than you, I'm not clockable, I'm this, I'm that. And I always, okay, I'm gonna go there. I
All right, let's
no,
buckle in.
yeah, no, I always laugh because I always go, you're more man than me, but honey, your legs were up over your head for me.
Not the first time I've heard that one, but you're right. Yes. Hmm.
And this is not once in a blue moon. This
Mm-mm.
is my sexual position. I'm a blouse. This happens a lot. And the men that I usually, now I've been celibate almost 10 years, but even the request for when I come out, my dinner card is already filled. The requests are in. I know what they want, how they want it, where they want it. And it's just like, but you in our community, you want to base masculinity off of what? And I say this for this reason, not just to be shady, I'm the queen of shade just through shade, but I say this, right? I say this because my attitude is this, like, if there's a war and us men have to go to the front line, especially Black men, which are usually going to be first anyway, um, you're not going to care what my sexual orientation is in the trenches with you standing next to you. You're going to care that I cover you and make sure your life is protected, and so on, the man after me, and then the man after him, and then the man after him. You know, you're not going to be worried about, or you shouldn't be worried about my orientation. You should be worried about whether or not we're fighting on the same team. And that is kind of my way of looking at this issue, because we're fighting on the same team. You know, I always say that I lent my voice to Black Lives Matter for a moment. And then I didn't rescind, but I recoiled, because my attitude was, I quickly saw that, okay, yeah, I'm here, I'm lending my voice to Black Lives Matter, but as soon as Black Lives Matter is over, you're going back to beating and abusing men like me and killing transgender women. So I was like, I'm not gonna fight with you against them and then you turn around and kill me. I'm your next target. So, you know, and that's kind of sad, but like, I'm one of the people, and I'm just gonna say this, recently, very recently, with the help of the Queen Mother, Duchess of Slay, my grandmother, and my therapist and psychiatrist, I just recently, have started to actually wake up and see the work that I've actually done. See its value, see its potentiality, see its potency, and see its effectiveness. So I'm newly aware that I've done an amazing job. And what's sad about that is that my amazing job is recognized internationally, but I have a problem, or I should say they have a problem with me, with a lot of brown people in our community and in our civilization of Black people. Like they have a problem with me. And it's unfortunate, but it's their problem. It's their problem. It's not my problem. You know, it doesn't hurt me. And like before, and that's the thing, people ask, well, does it hurt you? And I'm like, no, because, you know, it takes a lot of courage to put on a wig and a dress. You know, so I had already stopped giving a fuck a long time ago. So you know, it doesn't bother me. I knew that I had to be me. And I knew that I was actually the strongest among them, because I was willing to be me and to fight and to lay down my life if need be, to be the person that I am. But it's just so unfortunate that there is such derision and division in our people. And the reason why I'm going this way with you is you live in the South. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm going that way. So explain to me, because I don't know how progressive Durham is. Does Durham have a big gay scene?
We do, yes, actually. Not always. I'd have to say, of course, you know, you hit the nail on the head, but I am in the South. So, you know, I've been there, done that, with being accepted, most of all. And this is, you know, actually kind of rolls into why I do what I do.
Yeah.
It's because, you know, we're all beautiful in all of our colors, regardless of that, you know, inside and out. And, you know, when it comes to location, that does carry differentiating experiences and, you know, building blocks to your personality.
Yes.
I'm glad that you actually said that a long time ago, you stopped giving fucks, because, you know, RuPaul once said, what everyone else thinks of me or says of me is none of my business.
Right.
And actually, you know, I didn't get it. I that was like, what, season 1, 2? I was like, what did she say? I mean, it was, but I was at the same time, you know, trying to think like, you know, what exactly does she mean? And it is because that is a caricature of you. That is, you know, conjuring of the mind of you. Yeah. And that is something, you know, they don't know you. Yeah. And, you know, when it comes to what people call you, what people may assume of you, just off of what they, you know, they first see, it really is none of your business. You know, it was like a eureka moment. I got it. And, you know, I stopped caring long ago as well about what people are saying about my pictures that I take. And, you know, what I get the most is stuff like, you know, you could work out more, you could tone this up, you could, you know, lose some weight, you can shake this up, and things like that. And I was a sucker for it. I hit the treadmill, the Stairmaster, and all that good stuff. I was really trying up there.
Yeah.
But then, I learned something along with that saying, combined with just, natural personal experience, wisdom, if you will call it, maturity, is that, you have to look out for you. And all these demands, and these, little nitpicks and editing that people want to do to you, you would be like Superwoman or Superman if they could like build what they want of you. And your recent broadcast, actually, in relation to this, and I texted you about it just a little while ago.
Yeah, you did.
It was Hustle Sold Separately.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna watch it again after this. It was perfect. I really needed that. And I really need everyone else to go and watch that one. Hustle Sold Separately, it couldn't have been a better title, because it really is. Your hustle and your business, your personality, all of these things that you have to build yourself and really get out there and learn about yourself. It's on you. And on the way, you're definitely going to learn a lot about yourself and a lot about others too, and that they are incorrect about you. It is not true. They are not going through whatever you're going through. And it's basically a single word. It's called life. We all go through it, and you have to worry about your life.
Yep.
Mhm.
You're absolutely right. Thank you for that, because I did that after I had an amazing conversation with my vocal coach, and I just, something stood out to me when you were speaking, and you were saying, basically, I know the way I look, there's a certain way I'm comfortable looking, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And, I was speaking to my vocal coach, and I was talking about walking away from a very lucrative deal, because I met my vocal coach because of my A&R for a very large record label when I was young. I've known her 15, 16 years. She's been my vocal coach. And she will be for life. And, I was talking to her about, the fact that I didn't have to ask anyone's permission to make albums, to write music, and to sing it and record it, to produce it, with my producer. I co-produced them. I didn't have to ask anybody for that. And I find that when the best of us awaken, we trip out everybody else, because everybody else is running this course of life that they think is the course, the only way to do it. And then when you totally break, cycle and break rank, they're lost. They don't look like you. They don't know how to take you. They don't know where to put you. It can even get violent, and it's just like, all because you don't want to do what everybody else is doing. And they're afraid that even being seen with you, what you're doing is going to rub off on them until it's successful. Keyword. Then it becomes successful. And then all of a sudden you get people writing you, oh, I just did this. I just started this. I just started that. They do that to me all day. And I'm just like, okay, but you were also the backstabbing, conniving bitch that was telling everybody I was going to fail.
Tell me about it.
That was you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and like, get this, even a lot of guys that I've promoted, they don't know that I know. They talked a lot of shit about me. All I was trying to do was help them. They don't know that I know. And because I have guys that have been like you, day one supporters, and they know these guys, and they'd be like, Queen, why did you promote him? He talked shit about you like crazy. Why did you promote him? And I said, because I knew. But me knowing still doesn't negate the fact that I'm going to do my job, what I'm good at. I'm a light. I'm a beacon. I shine. That's what I do. And I share my light with whosoever I see fit. I would be a fool to think that everyone that calls me queen started off loving me. I'd be a fool. And that wouldn't be reality. That would be an alternate universe. But nevertheless, I've even had people deny interviews, and I'm just like, okay. And then my grandmother would get upset, like, you helped them and you did this and you did that. What are you going to do when they come crawling to you for an interview? And you know what I said? Do the interview. And she was like, you're going to do it. Yep, I'm going to do it. And she was like, you're different. You're just so different. I'm like, yeah. Because at the end of the day, this is about me and my love for people and helping them and seeing them get ahead. And I'm not even a religious person, but there is nothing like taking an enemy and blessing them. They will never forget it. As long as they live, they will know, it will eat them alive because you helped them. So tell me, are you an only child?
No, actually, I have one younger sister. She's over in Sanford, North Carolina, doing her vet tech thing right now. I'm very proud of her. She graduated college a couple of years ago, and she's loved her career ever since. I actually come from a household of 7. There was mom, dad, and then 3 cousins adopted from my father's side of the family, and then me and sis are the biological ones. And I'm going to go into a bit of the long story a little bit about my sister. So not a lot of people know this about me, is that my family raised us Jehovah's Witnesses, and some people don't know what that is, and some
I
people
do.
yeah, right. And I explained to them what that is, and for the people that know right off the bat, they just, their eyes widen, and they kind of sit back a second and soak it in. And I said, yeah, that religion, and they go into asking me about how hard that was, and how did you deal with that, and things of the like. And I said, honestly, you know what, it wasn't for me. It was something that I was supposed to conform to, because I'm under the parents' roof and all that good stuff. But no, it was just I went out in field service, as they call it. I was the one knocking on your doors early on a Saturday, Sunday morning, disturbing your sleep, trying to hand you magazines and things like that. And of course, after 18, I went on to flourish in, whatever career I wanted to do after that, out of the house. My sister, however, was the more, not know what's the word, anointed one that continued in that religion. She was very good at it, I would say. She had mentors up under her arm. She took people under her wing and taught them, and did Bible studies and went over to their house, and did follow-ups and everything. And I said, okay, that's fantastic, do you? But going back to my insight with my unofficial psychology background, I could see that it wasn't exactly for her. There was something missing in that. And, when they say, when you go to work and have fun with it, it's not really work. She wasn't having fun. None of us were, me and her, yeah. So I felt like she was following footsteps that were already planted for her, and she tried to fit them. So, like I said, she stuck with that for quite a while. And then a couple years later, she came out as a lesbian. Go figure. Yes, right. Come on, family.
Right.
So more so than my experience, my parents, accepted her with open arms and said, okay, that's, whatever you want to do. Yeah. And we'll get into that. And they were saddened and upset, honestly, about her not continuing her reign in the Kingdom Hall, the Jehovah's Witnesses practice. But after that, she went to school for quite a while to, be a veterinary technician, because she was like, do you remember Liza Thornberry? The Thornberrys, that cartoon a long time ago? The younger folks aren't gonna remember that when they see this, but that's fine. They can go ahead and look it up. She was quite like her. When we were playing outside, riding our bikes and stuff, she would always bring home cats, dogs, rabbits. She would talk to them, not really like English translation, but animals loved her. And they, just abided by her. She would take care of them. She would nurse them back to health, and sometimes raise them. as long as mom would tolerate, they'd go to the shelter eventually.
Yeah.
So that also goes back to what I was saying about, these kids out here saying, I want to be an astronaut, computer engineer, and a veterinarian. Well, my sister really followed through with it. She was into that when she was younger. Then she broke out and tried to do the whole Jehovah's Witness thing. But then she said, you know what, no, I have a calling, I have a passion, and there's something in me that really needs to come out. And she's younger than I am. She's in her mid-20s now.
Mhm.
And she came to me one time and said, I think I was living in Raleigh at this time, and she was still in Fayetteville, living with the parents. And she came to me by text saying, what if I can't do this? She said, I'm not sure I know what I'm doing. What if I'm too in over my head? There's a lot of competition out here. You have to know what you're doing, with these surgeries with dogs and, the medicine. And it's really hard studying too. I've looked into her stuff. I said, no, ma'am, that's for you.
Mhm.
And that was one of my many first, little psychology sessions.
Yeah.
And I said, girl, please. I came out of my professionalism a little bit. And I said, do you remember when you were riding your bike or you're playing outside, or, there was a cat that was wounded on the street or whatever, and it's like magic, you would take care of them and they listen to you. You love animals and they love you. This is what you're supposed to be doing. Your grades are perfect. I mean, all your professors love you, classmates love you. You may be the only one that has this, because again, it would be Stanford, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And but don't let any of that stand in your way. You're listening to your other self right now, your doubts, and that's normal. We all have that. We have butterflies. Some people have full-grown eagles in their stomach. Some people have frogs or whatever.
Mhm.
But that's completely normal. Just focus on what you're doing,
Mhm.
and know that you can be whatever you want to be. You can do it. You'll be completely fine. And I was correct. She's definitely flourishing. She's traveling, with her career,
Right.
and she's doing a hell of a lot better than me, I have to say. Like, if I had, her ambition and her guidance, long ago when I was younger, then, it would be lovely just to have that. So, she's ironically one of my idols. My one and only biological sister, she's definitely something to look up to, because when you see something, some people don't really want to do the work and climb for it. But I have to say, her and I most definitely do.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Listen, people don't understand how religion can really be daunting. No one knows this. This is the first time I've ever shared this, and you know me. I've talked and talked and talked. I have 22,000 Queen of Shade videos. They don't know that when I was 3 and 4 and 5, I used to be knocking on doors with my mother because she was Jehovah's Witness.
Get out.
Knocking on doors and get this, vividly remember the Kingdom Hall. We had this place called Bethlehem, PA, where we went and people would get baptized. And, I did all of that as a young man. I did all of that as a boy. And then 10 years old, I'm with my grandmother and we entered the Kojic Pentecostal church.
Mm-hmm.
And that too was very hard, and they teased me for being gay, and it was much. But what I realized, because this is another thing, I from high school all the way up to college, I followed biology because I was going to be a veterinarian. So I know, yeah, I know, and I know how difficult it is, but you have to want it. You have to want it. And I thought I wanted it. I wanted it so bad. I wanted it because it was my way out of poverty. It was my way out of religion. It was my way out of my family's home. And then I am diagnosed bipolar type 1, PTSD, acute anxiety disorder, and then forced to have to medically withdraw from school. Devastating. And most people don't understand what it's like to lose a dream. It's like a miscarriage. Your baby dies inside of you. And If anyone knows, I'm being graphic because I want people to understand, for a woman to have a miscarriage when she's very far along, to have to pass that baby, what they don't understand is she has to go in the hospital and still go through the labor and have that baby, even though it's dead.
Right.
They don't know that.
Dramatic, yeah.
So that was what I was doing. So to go through, I've been through so much pain. And then, you know, to decide that I would use what came naturally to me, my voice, my intellect, my talent, my skill, my know-how. It wasn't a bed of ease. I then encountered a whole new group of obstacles. And then it was just like, you know, there were many times, I was just talking to my grandmother last night about that, about how there were many times that I wanted to quit, but I couldn't quit. I couldn't. And it was just like, I loved it too much. I loved it too much. I loved the help that people were getting from the simple fact that they could just log on the internet while I slept and just watch something that I said and text me like you did and say, oh my God, I needed this. Thank you. You know, people don't understand, for a child that had a drug addict mother, drug addict and mentally ill father and mother, and then to be passed around a family on my mother's side who were my uncles and aunts, all of them. I have 2 uncles, 2 aunts. One is gone, my uncle. So now I have 2 aunts, 1 uncle, but they were all gay and lesbian. But, you know, to this day, I only have 1 aunt who has embraced herself and married a woman and is happy. But when I was coming up, I heard the forbidden, deny your flesh, seek God, as long as you don't practice it, as long as you don't do it, you're fine, kind of thing. And that turned out to be very dangerous for me, because it put me in a lot of situations because my hormones were just overloaded. And it was a crazy experience, until I just realized, like, you know, it was the divine that actually said to me, you know, you're gay, right? I was in Paris. You know, you're gay, right? I started screaming and crying and going all crazy. And the French people are looking at me like I'm crazy, and I'm crying. And yeah, I'm flipping out. And then finally I pull myself together and I stand up and I walk away, because they didn't know me. I didn't know a single person in there. So I didn't care what they said or what they saw. Yeah. And look at that. That was by divine design. I was in a strange land, far away, because the divine knew I needed to have that moment. I needed to have that moment, because that moment then set this in motion. I was able to come to this and do it with ease and with grace and style, and not care what anyone had to say about it. So it's a process. So I just want to say to you that you may not be what your sister, you know, is. And it's great that you look up to her, but I don't think you did too bad.
Well, thank you.
I don't think you did too bad at all. You're beautiful. You're still young. You ain't 40 like me. You're still young. You know, you got your own place, your own rules. You know, you can close the door in your house and say, listen here, you ain't coming in here with that. Quick question, just a segue. How do you deal with the Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on your door on Saturday morning?
You know, they don't come around here. It's not about me. I guess it's a district type of thing, or it could be the pandemic too.
Okay.
I just think of that. Maybe they're not knocking on doors and such for that reason.
Okay.
But I do want to touch lightly on what you said about loving what you do and how it flourished, and that you just couldn't stop, because an extra benefit is that, you know, we do have access to all of your content 24/7 at all times. And, you know, receiving the feedback, you know, when people text you saying, I really needed that, I definitely can relate with that, because as I mentioned before, I went to school briefly for medicine. Haven't really gotten my degree yet, working on that too. But this is gonna let's take us back 8 or 9 years here. You're aware of PrEP,
Yes.
aka pre-exposure prophylaxis, okay?
Yes.
So once upon a time, I was looking for that medicine. And, I didn't really know how to access it because this was my first apartment, like years ago. And, I didn't really know how to, like, what's a primary care provider? What is that? Things like that.
Yeah.
So I admittedly, lacked knowledge when it came to things like that.
Mhm.
And I saw commercials on TV about PrEP, and I one day saw a neighbor of mine. We were spending time at his house because I had gotten to know them as friends,
Yeah.
and they were a gay married couple.
Mhm.
And I see him say, "Oh, hang on one second, I gotta take my pill." And I was like, "Okay, whatever. Everyone takes medicine." That was like a vitamin of some sort.
Yeah.
He sure enough pulls out a bottle and just pops in a blue pill. And I said, "Wait a second, what is that? Is that what I think it is?" He said, "Yeah, True Val, I take it once a day."
Yeah.
I said, "How do you get a hold of that? Like, I really am interested in learning about, this prevention medicine." So I went to a free clinic
Yeah.
and became educated about it and had participated in a clinical trial study for PrEP, and had no side effects, loved it, didn't have a problem taking it. And then after the study was over, I think they had assisted me in finding out how I could continue this pre-exposure prophylaxis method. But then I said, you know what, how do you do what you do? I just was straight up and I asked them, I said, how are you able to disseminate this information? Is there, someone that you answer to? Is there, something that is going on in the county that that I can learn more about this? So then she had led me to a website for UNC Chapel Hill, med.unc. Med.unc.edu, I believe it is.
Mhm.
And long story short, I then became a volunteer. So I then started to go out into the world, and we had club outreach. We had gay pride events that we go to. We table up there, and it was for UNC's Institute of Global Health and Infectious Diseases, or if that's a mouthful, IGHID,
Yeah.
here in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. So after doing that for a couple of years, they had actually staffed me. They had put me onto the team, and they had me go over to what was the LGBTQ House of Raleigh, North Carolina, at its old location. And while people were getting their free testing for HIV, they would have me go there and hand out brochures. And it was like my own little classroom. I loved it. And I would teach the children, if you would say, about the medicine that is coming about and our future endeavors with the injectable PrEP that is cabotegravir. And, all of these things that, people don't really know about. There's commercials now to this day, yes, but, that was our hard work that we had to do to really disseminate this information.
Right.
So now the Facebook for that is currently on my Instagram as well. So currently I am an ambassador for UNC's Global Health and Infectious Diseases, still, spreading that word when I can. Thank you. And it goes back to what we were talking about with, kind of like counseling, if you, as we like to spread knowledge the absolute best way that we can. And I was that little gay kid in clubs, having no business in there. And I was seeing people come through the door with just buckets of condoms, and they'd put them at the door, and they would have cards and, company names on them. And I said, you know what? I'd love to be an advocate for safe sex. I'm seeing a lot of us in our community dealing with that.
Yes.
And I want to get into that too.
Yes.
So yeah, that is currently what I do on the side as well. So it's not, I'm not a doctor or anything. I can't like tell you the enzymes and the compounds of PrEP and all this good stuff and the chemical this and that, no. But what I do is, convince people, and I teach people that you have options here. Even after care, should you, be diagnosed with it, there's post-exposure prophylaxis for that too. I didn't even know about that until, I really got into my work. So that's been a real gifted experience for me, and something that I probably wouldn't have known about had I just stopped taking the medicine, or stopped at taking the medicine anyway, just kept the medicine to myself, pop it every day, and, not really flourish in what they do. So I'm enjoying that a lot now.
You know what, what I hear, and it's the same with how I got here. I have many talents, yes, that is apparent, but you do what you like to do or love to do or want to do, and the universe will make room for you. You do something that makes you feel alive or makes you even feel like you have value, and the universe will open the door to allowing you to be able to do that for a career. I had no idea that, now mind you, I just did before we got on, let me just run over here. I ran over to Facebook because my private Facebook, you can't even send me a friend request. I'm going to request you, mind you, later. But yeah, like you can't send me a friend request. I disabled it because it's a lot of the people that I actually know. It's like my classmates and things like that. And I was blessed, I'm in the city now, but I was blessed to grow up in the suburbs and meet amazing Caucasian people, which is why I'm not racist, because I have many Caucasian people that were very, very kind to me and helped me so many ways. But I wrote just very briefly, I said, I believe in me. I still believe in me, and I will always believe in me. Your talk is cheap, literally. My talk supports life, my life, and the lives of millions. And then I said, most talkative class of 2000, indeed, because I was voted most talkative in school in the class of 2000. I graduated in 2000 from high school and entered college in the year 2000. And most talkative was supposed to be something that was a gag. It was supposed to be a gag. It was a joke. But it was something that I enjoyed to do because I always had something to say.
There you go. And look at you now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we listening to you.
Yeah. And that's the thing. My grandmother said that last night. My grandma was like, the world is listening. And it's been such a blessing and an honor to do what I love to do, because I too, this was not my original dream. This wasn't my original dream. I went through fashion first, then music. I didn't even try acting. Like I was just like, no, I don't even want to go to Hollywood. I'm not interested in all that mess, because I knew people behind the scenes and they're like, honey, they did this. I'm like, no, I'm not messing with them Illuminati people.
Right.
So I'm like, no.
You do have track record.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the thing was, I was able to realize, and I say bless any person who is able to realize that they can do something on their own, that they don't need the permission of others, that they don't need someone to fill out a recommendation for them. Blessed are the people that really realize, I'm gonna just go off and do this myself. Because if you toil with it, I've toiled with this for 20 years, it pays off. But not enough people possess the courage to kind of defy the general collective and go against the grain, to swim upstream instead of down against the current. And like they don't have that. But I'm a very strong swimmer. And you know what I love, so are you. And what I hear from you is that you're well informed, you're ready. And and I love this. I'm going this way is because when people see models that will willingly do erotic photos, they think like, oh, this person is just, they think you're not informed. They think that they can use you. They think that they can get away with, oh yeah, let's just do a nude shoot. And what I love is, I love when I come across models was like, no, baby, I like to do this because this is my passion. But in no way, shape, or form am I gullible.
There we go.
I'm not gullible. And I can't wait to see more of your pictures. I saw this site. I gotta join this site that you have. It's some weird site. I thought it was something from Europe or something, because it's weird. What hold on, let me see. It was like Rouxx something. Hold on, let me see. It was called, hold on, I could go there real quick. See, that's what I love about using a computer, because then I can use my phone and go see what I need to see. It was, let me see. There you are. And so you come right up. It was, oh no, it's not there anymore. Oh no, it's not there anymore. I thought it was, it might've been a couple of years ago. I thought it was another site. I thought it was a different site. It was like something, I thought it was like a specialized print, like for you to, Oh, okay, it was. Okay.
Was,
Save
yeah,
me here. Save me. I'm drowning.
no, yeah, I got you. No, my first photographer, Brian with Intimate Pics,
Yeah.
love him to death.
Yeah.
He's on my page a million times because it's just, and he's here, I think Raleigh, North Carolina, no, Cary, North Carolina. So he's about 20, 30 minutes away. And he's a very good lifelong friend of mine. Oh my God, his lighting is amazing. It's, he does the click, 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 but what he does capture, it doesn't need any editing. We've never toyed with my body or anything. We've
Yeah.
never like done the cropping or anything. It's just amazing. And I don't want to get too far into a story about that because I can again just go on like I'm a talker too. Actually, I'm finding out lately. I can
He
just
said I'm fine.
okay. That was a website that we created just temporarily after we did a photo shoot in 2015ish maybe, and that was through Redbubble. I think that's what you call it. And yeah, my shots were printed on t-shirts, buttons,
Wow.
swimwear, on by demand. So
Oh,
should you click
okay.
on it and want to buy it, then you could order it that way, like little pockets on your t-shirt and things like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
But you see, that's even smart to do because that's a model taking control of their photos. You can sell them
That's
yourself,
right.
a beautiful image. You can do a coffee table book. Get this, people don't understand. For most of my photos, I took them myself. All of them
Oh
for
my
my
gosh.
career. Yeah, all of them. I've
Shut
taken
up.
them
Me
myself.
too. That's how I got into this. So let me see. In the beginning, anyway, when I didn't know like from anything how to contact a photographer, where to find them, or modeling agency, this and networking that, I was a child. I didn't know what I should do. I just knew what I saw in magazines, television, social media,
Yeah.
and I said, well, I can do that, whatever. So this camera came out years ago. It was one of those bulky silver Kodak cameras. I don't question me on the
Yeah.
model of it, yeah. But I would literally set my camera down in one place and then I go run in place and then pose
Yeah.
and then just hope that the shot came out right. So you just scroll all the way down towards the bottom of my Instagram, you can see that I labeled myself as the photographer.
Yeah.
And then once upon a time, sure enough, on Grindr no less, a photographer saw me
Yep.
and introduced himself as such and said, I'd love to do a photo shoot with you. I've seen what you've done and you've been doing it by yourself. So entrepreneurship wise, you have a good eye. This is great. You know how to capture your body, your angles, and things of that like. And at first I was like, this is a scam. What are you talking about?
It's a scam.
And I'm not wearing the right skin color for this. I'm like, oh, yeah, you want to come to my house? I was like, I mean, it's clean, but I don't know. It was my first gig. I didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, it turns out, we talked a little more and he was real.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. Like you said, I had just been doing it ever since. The shots came out great. I was skinny, tiny, little 130-pound thing. Didn't know what I was doing. And I had pink hair at the time. My hair was pink just in like the front corner chunks. So that's a tell all how you can see, what my actual first photo shoot was.
Yeah.
But then it was Instagram and Model Mayhem that helped me network and put my photos out there. Other photographers saw it and, other people saw this and that and said, hey, do you want to come here? Do you ever travel? How old are you and how tall are you? And,
Yeah.
so then I started to do it that way. So yeah, to this day. And with a recent, actually, I'm glad you said, that you're anticipating more pictures because I do actually. I have 2 photo shoots that I'm going through right now that I have to post. One by Greg Lent Photography in Fort Lauderdale, another by Visualize Photography, also in Fort Lauderdale, but he came to me when I went on vacation this past week to Holliver Beach and shot me as well. So yeah, definitely stay tuned. I have some really good stuff coming up. Can't wait for everyone to see it. There's some beautiful shots for sure.
I'm so excited. Tell everyone, give me 3 words that inspire you.
Inspire me, okay. Authenticity,
Uh-huh.
realization,
Uh-huh.
and eccentric.
Eccentric. I like that.
Mhm.
Now tell everyone where they can find you on social media. I'm going to put all the links.
Of course, yeah, right. You can most definitely find me on Twitter. I recently made Twitter. I'm still, trying to work out all kinks and gears that all you young folk are into. At Rouxx Official, all one word, ROUXXX official.
Yeah.
My Instagram is ROUXX.X_official, only because somebody with, I don't know, like 200 followers or whatever, they took my name. I keep checking back to change it into all one word, but for right now, Instagram is ROUXX.X_official. And as far as my work with pre-exposure prophylaxis and the clinical trial studies that we do, we definitely still have some of those open to get you educated on that in case you're interested in the medicine or even being part of our team. And that is facebook.com/globalunc. All on my Instagram, though, it's listed.
I want to leave you with this. Guess what? I was going, like I said, I'll be 10 years celibate in August the 9th.
Yeah, I heard that.
And I was going to prepare to break my celibacy, but I was not going to break my celibacy without being on PrEP, because even years ago, I wasn't on PrEP. I'm a condom freak. So I was like, I need more protection than that doing this. I'm like, ugh. So come to find out, one of my medicines that I take for my psychological condition interacts with PrEP and will render it inoperative.
Null and void. Okay.
So I can't take the traditional PrEP unless I change one of my medications, and it's the main medication, and I'm not ready to do that because it's so hard to find medications to help you with mental illness, especially bipolar disorder. And I've been taking this medicine for 15 years, and it has allowed me to work and do all that I do. So, but I have options because of where I sit now. I can demand that my partners take PrEP and be tested and do this and do that, and we still use condoms, but I want to, my psychiatrist was talking about, he's like, I can switch. And I'm like, you're not switching a damn thing. Because it took, I tried other medicines that just did not work.
Yeah, 15 years, come on.
Yeah, they didn't work.
Yeah.
They didn't work, or I was depressed, or I was, it was just going too, and I'm like, you ain't messing with this. So I'm gonna be a condom queen for a while, and insist that my sexual partners be on PrEP and get tested. And I don't mean get tested on their own. That's the beauty of celebrity. Like, oh, I'll get tested. Oh no, honey, right here you go. This is my doctor. There you go. Right there. There you go, baby. Right there.
I got you.
And get it. Like, everyone doesn't understand that about fame. Like, you can't be shy, because I got a whole bunch of people around me. Like, they gonna know, and we ain't gonna be in the house by ourselves. We're going to retire by ourselves for an hour.
There you go.
But they're gonna be a whole house full of people. Oh yes, they do different jobs. Oh no, this. Most people can't take that, because that is the nature of the brand. Yeah, you don't play around.
Yeah, I don't.
These people know exactly what you're going to do. That's why you sign everybody to NDAs, because you have to be around. But yeah. So, and I don't scream, but they might. But they might. In fact, I'm sure they will. But that's just on them. It won't be my voice being recorded. What did Chris Rock say in Fifth Element? I have a lovely recording of her voice. No, but Rouxx, I want to thank you for coming on today and giving such a beautiful insight and look at who you are, this beautiful man, and the work that you do. And I just want to encourage you to keep doing it and to stay in touch, because we're texting, the people don't understand that. We're texting. You got my actual number. I respond. So yes, we must keep in touch. And I think I want to have you back, because I want to go through the whole PrEP thing for people that may be skeptical, because get this, I had a young man who is, and this is a thing now, people don't understand this, but there's a man that I interviewed, he's gay for pay. So he deals with men, and I had to get him up to speed. Like, oh, well, if you're dealing with men, you need PrEP. And he's like, what's that? I was like, oh, there we go.
Oh,
yeah, there we go. you know? So, and there's,
Killing me here. Yeah.
yeah, and then I have some men coming on that are straight, but they like to be pegged. So I'm doing a whole lot of opening the eyes of a lot of my public. So, but yeah, you have to come back so we can talk about that. But I want to thank you again for coming on. Do you have anything you want to say before we go?
Just thank you so much, and everyone, for listening in. But like I said, I'm starstruck. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I hope that what I said and what I've shared, what we have shared, touches hearts, reaches out to people's minds, and that, I've introduced myself properly as someone that, likes to reach more atmospheres than people prefer to reach. And that I just, I'm trying to influence the children here. And I definitely received some very good food for thought from you. I could not thank you enough. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm loving it.
It was a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the vocal stylings of the one and only Rue. Don't go there. Hold on. Say bye.
Bye.
So did you enjoy? I hope you did. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and don't forget to cash at me at the Queen of Shade. I am your favorite content creator, right? Right. You want to see more of this content, right? Right. Cash at me. I love you. Mwah.
I've got my black stilettos on. Don't you make me take them